The only aircraft of China's strategic aviation is the Xian-6 bomber. The aircraft is made in China based on the Soviet long-range bomber Tu-16. The bomber has undergone many upgrades. Currently, China has modern modifications capable of using high-precision long-range weapons, including hypersonic. The engines of the Chinese-made aircraft, however, are complete copies of the Russian D-30KP2. The combat radius of the bomber, according to various sources, is 1,800 and 3,000 kilometers. Maximum speed up to 1,000 kilometers per hour, altitude up to 13 kilometers. The bomber's armament consists of both conventional and nuclear weapons. These are free-falling, guided and gliding bombs, CJ-10 cruise missiles and YJ-12 anti-ship missiles. The CJ-20 cruise missile is a subsonic missile with a firing range of up to 2,000 kilometers, made on the basis of the Soviet X-55. It can be either with a conventional or a nuclear warhead. Supersonic anti-ship missiles YJ-12 have a flight speed of up to 3,000 kilometers per hour, and a firing range of up to 380 kilometers. The combat load is about 20 tons. According to reports, there is a modification of the Xian-6N bomber, which is capable of using hypersonic aeroballistic missiles. The hypersonic air-launched missile is a version of the Dongfang 17 ground-based hypersonic missile. It can reach 5 to 10 sonic speeds. According to various sources, the firing range is up to 2,500 kilometers. To replace the Xian-6 bomber, work is underway to create a new generation machine. The Russian strategic missile carrier Tu-95MS is one of the representatives of the nuclear triad and forms the backbone of Russia's long-range aviation. The aircraft was adopted in the 80s of the last century. It is based on the Tu-95 strategic bomber, created back in the 50s, but differs significantly from its prototype. And first of all, the ability to use long-range cruise missiles. The combat radius without refueling is about 5,000 kilometers. The maximum flight speed is up to 830 kilometers per hour. This bomber is the fastest turboprop aircraft in the world. The flight altitude is up to 12 kilometers. The maximum combat load is about 20 tons. The aircraft holds the world record for the duration of the flight. Taking into account several refueling in the air, the crew spent more than 40 hours in the sky, flying about 30,000 kilometers. The main armament of the aircraft is the Ka-101 and Ka-102 cruise missiles with conventional and thermonuclear combat equipment, respectively, with a firing range of up to 5,500 kilometers. The aircraft is capable of carrying, according to various sources, from 8 to 16 such missiles. Two twin 23mm automatic cannons are mounted in the stern. The crew is 7 people. It is reported that work is underway to modernize the bomber, mainly aimed at increasing its resource, as well as updating avionics. The strategic supersonic bomber missile carrier Tu-160 entered service in 1987. It is the largest and most powerful supersonic aircraft in the history of military aviation, as well as the heaviest combat aircraft in the world. Its maximum takeoff weight is about 275 tons. It is also the fastest bomber in service, with a speed of up to 2,200 kilometers per hour. The design of the aircraft includes a variable geometry of the wing. 46 world records have been set on the Tu-160. The combat radius of the bomber is more than 7,000 kilometers. The maximum speed is 2,200 kilometers per hour. The ceiling is 16 kilometers. The combat load is up to 45 tons. The aircraft's armament is located in 2 internal compartments. The main load is 12 cruise missiles with a nuclear and conventional warhead with a firing range of up to 5,500 kilometers, according to various sources. It is also possible to use bombs of various calibers. The modernization of the aircraft includes improved avionics and modern aviation weapons. A class that has no foreign analogues is the Tu-22M3 long-range supersonic bomber with variable wing geometry. The aircraft entered service almost simultaneously with the Tu-160 in the late 80s. The main task of the aircraft is to destroy enemy aircraft carriers. The Tu-22M3 does not have the ability to refuel in the air. Its combat radius is up to 2,400 kilometers. And his record is the most beautiful plane in the world. The maximum speed is 2,300 kilometers per hour. The maximum flight altitude is about 14 kilometers. The maximum combat load is 24 tons. And the maximum takeoff weight is 126 tons. The basis of the aircraft's armament are X-22M missiles with a thermonuclear or high-explosive cumulative warhead with a maximum firing range of up to 600 kilometers. The aircraft can carry up to 3 such missiles. Also, the Tu-22M3 armament includes bombs of various calibers. Protection from the rear hemisphere is provided by a paired 23mm automatic cannon. The crew is 4 people. The next modification of the long-range bomber missile carrier will be the Tu-22M3M. The basis of modernization will be new avionics and advanced weapons. The American B-52H strategic bomber, adopted in the 60s, is the basis of the air component of the U.S. Strategic Offensive Forces. This is one of the few combat aircraft that has been continuously in service for more than half a century. The combat radius of the bomber is about 7,000 kilometers. This is the best indicator among aircraft of the same class without refueling in the air. The maximum speed is 950 kilometers per hour. The flight altitude is up to 17 kilometers. The combat load is approximately 30 tons. Numerous improvements and upgrades of the aircraft allowed him to use a wide range of weapons. The bomber can carry up to 20 AGM-84 cruise missiles with a maximum firing range of about 2,500 kilometers. The missile can be used in conventional and nuclear equipment. Up to 8 B-61 or B-83 thermonuclear bombs. From high-precision non-strategic weapons, there are 12 JASSM cruise missiles with a firing range of about 900 kilometers. Up to 18 planning high-precision JSOW ammunition with a range of up to 560 kilometers. A large number of free-falling and guided bombs. To solve problems at sea, the bomber can carry up to 8 Harpoon anti-ship missiles. The crew of the bomber is 5 people. Despite the rather advanced age of the aircraft, its safety margin, according to the Pentagon, will last until the 2030s. The American supersonic strategic bomber B-1B Lancer was adopted in 1986. One of the distinctive features of the aircraft is the ability to fly at extremely low altitudes following the terrain. This mode is provided as the main one for overcoming the enemy's air defense. No strategic bomber has such an opportunity. The combat radius of the bomber is approximately 5,000 kilometers. The maximum speed is about 1,300 kilometers per hour. When overcoming air defense at an altitude of 60 meters, about 950 kilometers per hour. The maximum flight altitude is about 18 kilometers. The aircraft holds a number of world records in range, speed, load and rate of climb. The maximum combat load is about 38 tons. The aircraft has 3 internal armament compartments and external suspensions. The armament of the aircraft, depending on the combat load variant, may include 24 high-precision JASSM cruise missiles with a range of about 1,000 kilometers, or LRASM anti-ship missiles with about the same range. 12 high-precision JSOW gliding ammunition, guided and free-falling bombs of approximately up to 84 pieces. Crew of 4 people. The B-2A Spirit strategic bomber, adopted in the late 80s, is still considered the most modern and expensive aircraft of this class in the world. The main feature of the bomber is its low radar visibility. The design of the aircraft is made according to the flying wing scheme. The aircraft is covered with radio-absorbing materials, the jets of the engines are shielded. The effective scattering area is no more than 1/10 of a meter. This aircraft is also the most expensive in the history of aviation. It is noted that the B-2A is worth more than a mountain of gold equal to it in mass. The combat radius is about 5,000 kilometers, the maximum speed is about 1,000 kilometers per hour. The flight altitude is up to 15 kilometers. The maximum speed is about 1,000 kilometers per hour. The combat load is 27 tons. The weapons include nuclear, conventional and precision-guided munitions. The aircraft can carry up to 16 thermonuclear bombs, or 12 guided bombs, or 8 high-precision gliding ammunition, or 16 JASSM cruise missiles, or up to 80 free-falling bombs. The crew is 2 people. Based on the aircraft, a new B-21 Raider bomber is being created. The design of the promising strategic bomber B-21, as well as its prototype B-2A, is made according to the flying wing scheme. The promising aircraft is made using stealth technology. The aircraft will have an increased flight range, but with smaller dimensions and weight compared to the B-2A. Its armament will include advanced aviation weapons and avionics. According to the developer Northrop Grumman, the aircraft will be able to overcome the most complex enemy air defense systems. It is assumed that it will enter service with the U.S. Air Force in 2026-2027. In total, it is planned to deliver 100 bombers. The Russian advanced bomber will also be a subsonic low-visibility bomber missile carrier, made according to the flying wing scheme. It is reported that the maximum flight duration of a promising Russian aircraft will exceed 30 hours, and the range without refueling will reach 15,000 kilometers. In terms of combat load, it will surpass the Tu-160, and the armament will include guided air-to-air missiles to ensure the self-defense of the aircraft. At the initial stage, the aircraft will replace the aging Tu-95MS, and only in a later period will it take a leading role in strategic aviation. The promising Chinese Xian-20 bomber will be created entirely by Chinese industry without using a foreign prototype, as it was before. However, its design is based on ideas taken from the American B-2 aircraft. Due to a significant increase in flight characteristics, the new aircraft will be able to show serious advantages over its predecessor. The flight range will be about 8,000 kilometers. But the combat load will be almost 2 times less and will be about 10 tons. The aircraft will have low radar visibility to effectively overcome enemy air defenses. The armament will include new guided bombs and missiles of various types. Detailed information about the future Chinese aircraft is not yet available in open source. Subscribe to the channel, put likes, write comments. See you soon.